me just make a note here. The first order of business is the review and approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any changes, corrections, additions to the minutes? Give you a moment to look over.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes have passed. Our next item is public comment. Does anyone in the public have comment? Or if your issue is coming up, you can also comment at that time. Does anyone want to comment now? You want to comment now, Laura? Okay. Oh, you're going to comment during, okay, the other time. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay, so then we'll move to the announcements. A few announcements I have are the League of Women Voters sponsored a lecture at will sponsor a lecture at the Willows, and I'm the speaker. And the topic is Paul Hawkins' Drawdown, and a remarkable blueprint to reverse, I should know my own title, right? To reverse the climate crisis and how it affects each of us. So although this is not in the name of the EAC, I do have my name listed on as a member, as a chair of the EAC. So a little advertisement for us, and if you're interested, it will be held Saturday, January 7th at 10 a.m. And the information is on the Willows Preserve website as well, if anyone would like to check that out. The next one is, we will elaborate on this a little further in the meeting, but just as a means of announcement, that during this past month, the Birdtown resolution was passed, the approval of a new member went through, and the approval of the environmental survey were all approved by the Board of Commissioners, and we will elaborate on actually all of these throughout the meeting. Also, the proposed earth-friendly tips has begun. So the first one, I don't know if you saw it, was the last week in November. It was the last item on the newsletter, and it was also, if you clicked on the little heart tree logo on the social media, so the first tip was published. Dan gave me 2 tips, which I've shortened because they're only supposed to be a couple sentences, and put them in the queue, and then I have a few others in the queue. But please send me any tips that you can think of. They're supposed to be short. So the one this time was, which one was that? Oh, about the leaf blowers. And then we have one in line about letting the car idle while you're picking up your kids. We have don't put your recycling in plastic bags, and a couple
I
others.
actually saw the don't put your recycling in plastic bags one.
It was that one first? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I saw it on Facebook.
I think. Possibly, yeah. Okay, no, don't put recycling in plastic bags. Okay, so if you do have one, please send it to me rather than just tell me, so I can just put it on the list. And does anyone else have any announcements? Okay, so we will move on to the next item then, and that's introduction of our new member, Eugenia Warnock. And I'm not sure she's related to any Georgia candidates. Okay. Okay. So welcome, Eugenia, and I think everybody got her her resume, and I was wondering if you would like to just tell us a little bit about you just so we can have it on the official meeting, please.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm thrilled to be a member of the council and look forward to working with you all. I had a previous long career in development and fundraising, and I returned to school about 5 years ago to get a master's in environmental studies at the University of Pennsylvania, where I am. And currently, I am a teaching assistant there in one of the undergraduate science courses, so I'm plowing through that program.
Thank you, and welcome again.
Thank
And
you.
I think did everyone introduce themselves to?
Yes.
Okay, great. So our next item is mutual initiatives with Birdtown. Laura Luker and I had a discussion on the phone and about ways to sort of combine some of our efforts, and also the request was to put the Birdtown logo on our EAC webpage, but I think we're pending a few updates on that one. And yeah, so I was wondering, Laura, if you had anything you wanted to tell us about Birdtown.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Luker, and I'm actually on the board of the Radnor Conservancy. And the Radnor Conservancy was the one that actually started the whole Birdtown program, along with the EAC back then. And you've heard probably, due to the resolution, some information about Birdtown. And the reason why I'm bringing it forward to you again is, one, to introduce myself, because I am probably the Radnor side of the Birdtown versus Phil Whitmer, who you saw. He is kind of more senior than me. He is the vice president of Radnor Birdtown, or no, he's vice president of Birdtown, PA, and he lives in TE, just right on the border, and we share kind of the same information back and forth. And it really occurred to me that most bird towns throughout the Pennsylvania area are all kind of a conduit through their EAC. And it's a part of the EAC's mission. It's part of the ecology part. And it really, even though it says bird town, it's primarily about backyard habitats and best practices used environmentally in your township. And the resurgence of Birdtown in the last 4 years has really come to a really vibrant organization. And they have a wonderful website that I would highly recommend you guys looking at. It's birdtownpa.org. And the reason why I say that is because the information that has been put in there to understand your tips, you can get so many good tips from that website. It's got a wealth of information. And they also have programs that are going on all around, and maybe in your next door township that you might want to piggyback on. And we will be able to kind of give you heads up or say, hey, did you know? Or would you like to join on this? So it's basically, I'm introducing myself, a face to a name, and to also become more involved in helping you guys out, giving you guys information, kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. Way back when, we used to do this with the Shade Tree Committee, when we thought, hey, the Radnor Conservancy or whoever can kind of give some ideas. And so that's what we're here to help and do. And I'm forgetting your name. Jerry, your mom is our president of the Conservancy. And so you've really got a good in of information through Jerry. So I just thought I'd do that. I wanted to also give you a pamphlet that was for you guys to be able to look, and lots of great material. And I just want to reiterate, even though Birdtown is the name of this program, it really more means about the health of the environment, the people who are living there, and all the animals and birds and insects. So anyway, thank you very much, and I hope to be able to help, and please ask me any questions. Email me. Mark, he has my email. And as I did say, I really would like to be able to get the Birdtown, not only the logo, but the website on your EAC drop-down, as well as on the township, somewhere in the township that's more visible. So people can kind of look and see and go, oh, wow, I didn't know that, or this or that, so. Okay? And I'll give this to you.
Thank you, Laura. Does anyone have any questions of Laura? Thank you. Questions, comments? Laura, did you want to say anything about volunteers, or is that not at the right time yet about asking?
Well, I mean, if there gets to be a program that's being put together, I mean, the Conservancy always has some programs going on. We do things with other organizations all the time. And
What about the backyard bird count or something that's
oh,
coming up?
yeah. So that is coming up. Yeah, the next program is in February. It's around Washington's birthday time, and we can advertise that. But there is going to be a lecture at the Memorial Library, and it will be done by Phil Whitmer. And then that weekend, there is a bird count that goes on throughout the whole world, actually. It's really fun to participate in it. All you do is you sign up, and for 2 days, you just look out your backyard, or if you're walking and you're birding, and you actually catalog all the birds you see, and all that it's science, it's citizen science, and that information goes into their website, their data, and they're able to monitor what the status is of the bird migrations, of the, what birds are actually wintering in various places. And it's actually a really fun, I do it every year, so I highly recommend it. It'll get your bird skills sharpened up a bit.
Is the data on bird count down to a regional or even county level?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Because I've heard bird counts are falling in North America.
Yes, they are. And the whole migration is changing, and actually species to species has changed too, meaning where they actually end up because of climate change. Yeah.
Have you used that data to promote your cause, to raise concern in the public?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is
I
there
mean,
anything
this
more we
Birdtown-
can do to do that?
Birdtown is part of Audubon.
Yeah.
So you have Cornell and Audubon who have all this information. So it's a global.
Right.
Just Birdtown, PA is just the state of Pennsylvania. They're all over. And then within the state of Pennsylvania, there are about, I don't know how many, 25 townships that actually have gotten their Birdtown status.
Right.
And that information gets, passed on to all levels. And we can tell, I don't know exactly how to find that information out, but Phil would know. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think the backyard bird count sounds great, and it would be good to promote that in the township. Maybe we can figure out a way to do that on socials and stuff with
Oh, yeah.
everyone.
It's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And some years you get, you know, you get lots of kids who come, and you get kids who are actually really interested, and it's really fun to see. They know more about their birds than, you know, I do. And,
Well, maybe Jerry, we can take note of this to talk to Ray about it, but it might be an opportunity to get some of the elementary schools involved.
I totally agree with
yeah.
that. I was going to actually kind of push that through, and I didn't know who to do it with, but I would suggest that it's going to be, Phil's working on the date with Pam Snyder, Sador, who's at the library, and we are trying to get, you know, that figured out. It'll be pretty soon. We'll know that. That. And
Yeah,
it'll
if you'd
be
let me know, because we won't have another official meeting until the last Thursday, the fourth Thursday in January.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
Yep. Okay. Great.
I'm not sure about the other elementary schools. I went to Radnor, but every single year, I think either the 4th or 5th grade programs go to Audubon.
Yeah, do they?
During that time of the year, I think they really do focus on aviation populations and local bird species, and it's really just a fun field trip for them.
Yeah.
Just to go out and about. It'll be a beautiful spring day.
Yeah.
And incorporating a lesson about Birdtown seems pretty seamless to like that.
Yeah.
It's quite convenient that they have that annual field trip to Audubon each year. I'm not sure if Ethan and Wayne have the same program, but that could definitely be something to look into. And
Okay.
I'm sure encouraging the other elementary schools to take a trip to Audubon, teach their kids about
Yeah,
Birdtown.
it's so beautiful
Yeah.
out there. It's a great, great piece of property if you've never been there, so, yep. Okay,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Okay, so our next item was updates on the educational initiatives with the schools. Ray isn't here. I don't know, Jerry, if you and Ray have discussed any new things since our last meeting?
So we have. It's going pretty well. We're in the midst right now of contacting all the elementary school principals to set up activities for the coming Earth Day, which is, I think, Earth Day is April 22nd, so we've got a little bit of time between now and then. And it's quite a peculiar audience to prepare for. You know, it's one day for the REAC to try and touch a few chords with some elementary school students about environmental advocacy and getting out there and helping your planet. We've talked about potential tree planting in their school rounds. We're not sure if that's possible, or some other Earth Day activities. But at the middle school and the high school, we've talked to the AP Environmental Science teacher at the high school and the special curriculum programs about a guest speaker coming in to talk about REAC and local developments in our environmental world. I asked my environmental science teacher about a potential guest speaker coming in, and he responded with, "What is the REAC?" He had never heard of it before, unfortunately. But he showed great enthusiasm. I think it's more difficult for the high school to get a guest speaker, and I think that's more of a proper process because there's curriculum that you got to think about, and school time is pretty well managed. But the middle school teachers showed great interest in having a guest speaker come in, and that was pretty exciting. And then at the high school, we've talked more with the local clubs about how they want to get involved and kind of what we can do for them, for letting them know about available volunteering opportunities and things like that. There's been a lot of interest in PHS, the Philadelphia Horticulture Society. I don't know how much we can raise awareness for that or let them know about volunteering opportunities. For the Radnor Conservancy, if there's a position that needs to be filling on a volunteer day, I think having a relationship with the REAC and our principal to send out pretty quick reminders about getting students involved, that's pretty possible. Ray might have had some updates that I'm not sure about, I'm sorry he can't be here today, but that's about where we're at.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone know anything else about this? All right. So the next is a report and update on the Green Team initiatives. They've made some headway. I understand I've gotten CC'd on a number of emails, and it seems like you've made some real headway this past month. So Dan, could you give us some updates?
The Green Team has...
Turn your mic on, Dan. There you go.
Oh, and when it's red, it's not
Yeah.
working. Okay. The Green Team has an energy transition plan that was approved in 2021 for the township. And this would be basically how the township over the next 40 years, 30 years, could conserve energy and transform its energy infrastructure to renewable energy sources or electric sources of energy. The foundation of this proposal is first to conserve energy, which will make it easier for us to switch to renewable energy sources. And we, on the Green Team, have put as our first line of business is to request a comprehensive energy audit of municipal buildings in the township that would show ways to conserve energy and even prepare the buildings for eventual conversion to solar energy. So I understand from Melissa that the December 13th Board of Commissioners meeting, the 12th Board of Commissioners meeting will hear a request for a proposal for hiring a firm to do a comprehensive energy audit. Is there any further update to that, Melissa?
No, so I've requested that item to be on the board's agenda on Monday. So following that, that meeting, then with their authorization, then we can review the RFP proposal, the request itself, and then we can put it out for firms to put in their proposals.
Right, thank you. And this would be for all 4 municipal buildings?
Yeah, that's something that we need to go over when we put together the request.
Okay. There was also an update about a Green Team member joining the steering committee that would be responsible for revising the 2003 Land Use Comprehensive Plan, Mark Mueller. So I understand his candidacy has been put to the, through his ward commissioner to the Board of Commissioners. And specifically Kevin Kokansky, Director of Community Development. Is that correct?
Yeah, from my understanding is that the Board of Commissioners, they're the ones that are receiving the resumes for anybody
Okay.
that's interested, and they will be providing a list to Kevin for the steering committee.
Okay. And that review will be, hasn't been determined or when the Board of Commissioners will?
Yeah, I'm actually not involved in that process, so I'm not sure when that's going to go before the board, because I will need the full board
Yeah.
approval for the committee members.
Okay. Thank you. Lastly, this was a webinar that I attended that's pursuant to ways to build a house that is more healthy and uses energy more conservatively. I'm specifically talking about a passive house design. And on November 3rd, there was a presentation, a webinar by Ken Levinson, who is the executive director of Passive House Network. And he outlined 5 key design principles for a passive house. That is continuous insulation and to minimize thermal bridges, which is something I never knew about, which is could be a 2x4 stud is a thermal bridge because it does not insulate properly. And then high performance windows, keeping it airtight because air leakage defeats the control of indoor temperature and humidity, and continuous fresh air ventilation. So this is a design that I think building codes are eventually going to migrate to. I think with any degree of attention to energy conservation. May not see it in the foreseeable future for the Radnor Township, but we have tightened up our codes recently in this regard.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Any members of the public have any additions? Okay, thanks. And yeah, so it looks like in December we'll have some definitive outcomes of this. Okay, the next item is update on the environmental township survey that Donnell put together, and it received board approval. Donnell, if you want to tell us a little more about it.
Sure, thanks, Margie. I did attend the previous Board of Commissioners meeting and presented just short verbal presentation on the survey and answered their questions. They had a couple pieces of feedback regarding the ownership question that we previously asked about if residents owned or rented their property. I reworded this so we could keep it in because it is relevant to any initiatives we might propose. If you rent your property, you cannot make, or it's not in your best interest to make huge, changes to the property, and you might not be able to. So we want to keep those in mind. As a renter in the township myself, actually, I appreciate this question because a lot of initiatives end up being related to energy conservation in your home or different landscaping techniques that I really have no control over. So we did keep that question in. We added a question relevant to bird town. We are asking if folks are aware that Radnor is a bird town, similar to the question we have on the plastic bag ordinance. So the survey is live. It was shared today on Facebook and posted to the website. It will also go out in the newsletter, and the commissioners, or Moira volunteered the commissioners to send it in their personal newsletters to their constituents. It was also posted on Instagram. I've asked Molly, the social media staff, to repost it occasionally on social media, so I'll try to keep her up to date on that. Because sharing it once is, how your feed goes. It's just gone. So we will need to repost that. I am going to ask myself, I'm going to share on Nextdoor and would ask that you guys also do that, throughout the week. Just share the link. The first question is, are you a resident of Radnor Township? So if they say no, they get booted out of the survey. So you don't have to worry about, sharing it on Nextdoor and people not being part of or a resident of Radnor. So far, we actually already have 15 responses, which is encouraging. I can see the responses live, essentially, as they come through. They're anonymous unless someone said they wanted follow-up. We have 2 people so far that did. And my most interesting finding so far is that 11 of those 15 people are interested in composting pickup. Right. So the board did ask that we report out the survey results to them. They were a little hesitant about doing something like this because a lot of the times the results are never shared and they're never made meaningful. I assured them that we would share them. This is actually part of my career, so it comes more naturally for me to do this stuff, but I'm really excited that it got approved and that it's been posted so quickly. It's encouraging.
Do you know how long it's going to be on the website?
I
Or
don't.
do you, Melissa?
Well, it's posted as a news item, so of course, right now it's on the front page, but as the news comes, it'll drop, but it'll always be on the website.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really good idea, Donnell, to ask Molly to, put this out every so often so that we can capture different audience.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was fun.
I'll even remind her. I did ask her, but probably next week I'll say, hey, can you share it again?
Yeah.
Because there's always like a bump in responses when you share these things.
Oh, when are you going to, like, call it quits and collect the data?
I think we'll just have to evaluate I would keep it open for up to 2 months, honestly, through maybe the next time we even meet, which is the end of January, right? So that's almost 2 full months, and we'll see where it is there. If we want to do one last push, then, we could do that, but I didn't put an end date on it.
Okay.
I wasn't really sure how quickly we would get it posted, so that's the other thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. And this way, if we do, hopefully, propose any of these things, then we have the backing of the township
Yes.
residents.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really exciting.
Does anyone have any questions or anything to add to that? Okay, so the next other updates and reports, the other two things we've been talking about, there really aren't any updates, which is why they didn't get their own list. But the issue about the chemical testing at Ardrossan, we got as I said last time, the fact that they will do it, but I haven't gotten any updates on when this will happen. And the other one, been talking about composting, but there hasn't been any further info unless somebody has other info on that. Anybody have other updates or reports?
I just have a new business item on.
Okay, how about some old business or new business? Donnell?
I don't have any old business, but on new business, I think we should start talking about Earth Day already. Earth Day. So we just have a couple of meetings before Earth Day, right? Just 2, because it's at the end. 3. But we know how long, some things can take to get together. I would propose trying to tie something in with, since Earth Day is at the end of April, with the plastic bag ordinance coming into effect in March. And I would be happy to put together a proposal for some funding from the township to do something. I don't know how, if there's an official process for that or not, but it would be great.
You mean like giving out bags? Or?
Yeah, something like that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, we've talked about that kind of on and off.
Yeah, and honestly, it could be a very small budget compared to the $300,000 we spent on tree maintenance. So I would be happy to work on that, and we could bring it to the January meeting so we have something to propose.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I think certainly the bag giveaway, I don't know if you want to talk about having any kind of program, like lecture or program or anything for Earth Day.
Yeah, I'll do
we
some
ought to check we also
brainstorming.
ought to check with the Shade Tree Commission and see if they're
Yeah.
planning anything.
Can you do that? And
I'll do that.
I'll do some other brainstorming. I don't know if we're really ready for a heavy lift on anything, but we should definitely, since everyone is going to know now, hypothetically, that there is an Environmental Advisory Council, due to the survey and the earth tips and stuff, we should be prepared to at least do some kind of social media initiative.
Maybe we'll even get the 7th member.
Yeah. Oh, I'm planning to get one of those people off the survey.
Oh, Eugenia, we have another member who's on maternity leave right now. Okay, great, thanks. Anything else? Any comments from our public?
So,
Is the mic on?
yeah, I think the mic's on. Earth Day is typically Parks and Rec and Conservancy, and Shade Tree now gets involved because they are kind of stepping up their game, so it'll be really good for you guys to also get involved. I would actually look on, other townships and see what they do. PHS has great ideas as well. So there's a lot to do, and I think starting early, you're awesome in doing this, because that's the name of the game, is getting something. And you're absolutely right. If you're going to start to put a survey out and kind of advertise that you are now a working committee, this is really good, because you're going to start to go, oh, well, I can do this, we can do that. Yes, you don't have the people, but you chunk it. You'll get little by little, and you work with other organizations to help you out. The other thing is getting the survey out. I don't know if, I will bring this back to our board, but we can always put it on our constant contact too. I don't know, put it on, but we can say, go to the website, or the township website, stuff like that. What else was I going to say? I'm not quite sure, but anyway. And, the PHS grants, what Shade Tree is doing, this is something that you guys should be involved in as well. You should, it comes up usually twice a year, the grants happen. They do a spring planting, and they do a fall planting. It's bare root. They did a huge amount this fall, and they could use a ton of volunteers, and so outreach is through schools. We had a lot of students this year, which was awesome. And when I say we, it's everybody. There are so many organizations who are involved. Shade Tree, actually, it's the tree tenders, Radnor tree tenders, who do it, because you have to, in order to do the grant, you have to be a tree tender. And if you're not familiar with that, PHS has a whole tree tending program where you go, if you go online, you can learn how it's structured, but it's typically they give classes twice a year, maybe more than that. And you sign up and you do 3 days, maybe it's even shorter now, and you learn a lot. And then you become a tree tender, and then you're able to get grants for your township and start these volunteer programs. So I think there's a few tree tenders in here.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
No,
Oh.
I'm a tree tender.
Oh, you're a tree tender.
Amy is also a tree tender.
Ooh, advanced.
Okay, any other new business?
Not for me.
Okay, then if we have no further public comment, I will adjourn the meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.